Cool. Yeah. So, all right, that worked perfect. Um, I've had a lot of caffeine, and I get kind of excited about this topic, so I might talk really fast, and we might get through this really quick. In which case, you all have a decision to make. You can ask me questions, or we can break for coffee. So, the sorry, I've got notes. I'm kind of using as a crutch because I'm also forgetting. I started BikeRumor in 2008, and for a long time, we really avoided any kind of paid content on the site. And I'll tell you why soon. Like, it'll become pretty obvious why I was really opposed to that kind of thing. Eventually, though, figured out, but we were really late. And as my wife will tell you, I'm late to everything. And so there's a reason for that. It's, again, sorry, I'm kind of getting flustered here. We'll get to the reason in a second, but the cool thing is we did figure it out. And over the past couple of years, we've really put together some incredible paid content packages that I'll tell you about in a minute. And 2019 was a really killer year for this because it was the first year that we really fully implemented those, and we got a lot of brands on board. And 2020 is shaping up to be incredible for us. So here's what we did. Here's the story of how we got to that point. So when I first started BikeRumor, it was about how much content can I post, all the content, everything cycling, anything and everything I could possibly cram on the page, just all day long, post. I ran ads, like everybody does, I think, when they get started. And I was super excited the first time we made like $1,000 in the first month, And so, in 2008, took about 2.5 years for me to get to the point where I didn't have to do freelance stuff to pay the bills with that. So then, we also got really excited when people wanted to send us parts to review. I don't know how many of you ride bikes, but you can only ride one set of pedals at a time. But we were just super excited. People wanted to send us stuff, right? And then we found our niche, and we really focused on tech, and we found this was our strength, right? These are the things we were most interested in, was the products and the tech. And when we really got laser focused on just that and not trying to talk about advocacy and race news and athlete profiles and everything else, and focus just on the stuff that we were interested in, we did a better job writing, we were producing better content, and then our traffic really skyrocketed. We also got tons of free bike parts to review, but you can't eat bike parts, and you can't pay your mortgage with bike parts. So we also were trying to sell more banner ads then because we needed to make more money. And this is a response we got. Well, I don't know about banner ads. We're doing really good. We're running print ads. I don't know how many of you have been around long enough when print was still like really taking all the dollars from banners, but this is what we dealt with, right? There was just like banner ads. We're quite happy with our $12,000 full page ad. You realize you could have owned us for $12,000 for a year, right? So then we said, all right, well, I got to work with all these other networks. And then, so this was like a literal spreadsheet I had to do every few months to figure out my waterfall of different ad networks. And it sucked and I hated it. But it was making more money than AdSense. And then we found Ezoic and it jumped up. So thank you, Tyler and Ezoic team. But it made a huge difference for us. So this let us say, okay, great. Now we're doing great on ad revenue. Let's figure out what's next, because we still had to do bigger and better things from a revenue standpoint to grow the business. The reason why we didn't look at content-based stuff was because this is what I saw. These were the type of advertorials and crap, and hopefully this is not in any of your publications. But like this, I'm not going to put this kind of stuff on my website, right? And there's the reason why I was so hesitant to do this, not only because this is stupid and who reads this stuff, but we saw some of our competitors in the cycling space really getting just hammered for pay-to-play things that they were posting, right? Like, it was so obvious, but it was either poorly disclosed, if at all, or it was just like blatant advertising masquerading as an article. And they were getting slammed amongst our peers for it, and I didn't want any part of that. And then, this is just a few more examples, right? Like, we saw this kind of stuff, which to me is completely unethical. There is nowhere on that page that says this is an advertisement. This is an article about how to get beefed up or something, right? And it's pretty much an ad for that brand of stuff, and it gets worse to where it's like, hey, here's how you get big. And, oh, we like this product. Sure, you really love that product. So the point is, like, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm thinking, okay, there has got to be a better, more ethical way to produce content. And about this time, we still couldn't sell banner ads to anybody, because now it's not like, oh, we don't want print. We just want content-based stuff. So we're like, all right, we've got to figure something out. So I went and I looked and came up with some criteria that I thought everything had to do, because there has to be a better way, right? Like, this is the kind of problem solving I like, right? Like, all right, if this isn't working and I don't like this, it's not like I'm going to give up. And this is what I encourage all of you to do, is look at what else is out there in your space and say, all right, if I can't copy what somebody else is doing, I don't like what this group's doing, but we have to come up with something. Great. What are you going to come up with? And so we came up with different ways to do what I thought was ethical and beneficial and profitable content-based marketing. And to do that, we had to benefit three parties. Our readers, number one, because if we don't have our audience, then we've got nothing. And so if anything you're going to do is going to make your readers leave, then what's the point, right? Viewers, whatever you have. It has to benefit the brand, because they're the ones paying you. So if it's not benefiting the brand, they're not going to pay you, they're not going to come, and they're not going to be interested in anything you have to sell. And lastly, obviously, it has to benefit you, as for us, BikeRumor. Because we need to keep doing what we're doing. I need to pay my writers and my staff, keep the servers going, and everything else. So what we figured out was, when you can make all three of these parties happy, you get paid. But more importantly, well, maybe equally importantly, is when you're doing it right, you also build brand authority and you build credibility with your readers, and you just get to do some really cool projects that are really, really fun, right? And this is what got me excited about this, is like, I started coming with these ideas. And so this is how we did it. These are just a few examples of what we came up with. And there is more, but like, I don't want you taking all my ideas. And the point of this is not to like, ooh, I'm going to do that. It's just use this as kind of like a tool to think about, okay, what are some of these different things? So the first thing we came up with were some kind of formulaic ones, where it's like, this is the package we have, and here's how we insert your brand into it, and we can insert any brand into it for anything. So this one is basically our reader survey contest. So a brand will sponsor it. They'll offer to give away something of high value, hopefully multiple somethings. And what they do is they send us 3 or 4 questions that they want to ask our readers, usually multiple choice to make it quick and easy. And then the reader has to answer it and enter their email address, and they're entered to win whatever. So think about it from the reader's standpoint. What do they win? They win a chance to win something. For them, there's a benefit and there's value. The brand gets literally the cheapest market research you can possibly do, because we don't charge enough. They get to find out exactly what people think about the exact questions that brand wants to answer. So it's not like we come up with the question, the brand comes up with the questions. They also capture email addresses that they can dump into their marketing thing. We get paid. The other one, and this is one of my favorite ones, we call it Ask a Stupid Question, and the brands can sponsor it. So this flips the script. Now, instead of the brand asking the questions, the readers ask the questions. So if you're a reader, think about, like, everybody in here, you've probably got a favorite brand for something that you like. What if all of a sudden you had access to go ask that brand anything you wanted about their products, their technology, their company, their employment, whatever? We give our readers access to these brands because we have great relationships with the brand. So the reader's stoked because they can send us any question. We compile it, we send the questions to the brand answers it, the brand benefits because now they know exactly what their potential customers want to know. So they can take all of this information to inform their future marketing campaigns. And because they're answering questions on a particular subject matter, they're now viewed as the expert in that subject matter. So they gain brand authority and we get paid. Another one is like our tech series. It could be tire tech, suspension tech, whatever it is for cycling is, like we'll run a basic tech story explaining one topic, or a brand can jump in. So in this case, Terrain Tires sponsored this particular one. And so all of the photos in it and all of the answers come from the people who are creating Terrain Tires. Even though it's general information, it's something any cyclist is going to be curious about. They're getting the information they want. The brand gets, implied endorsement and, gets to act as the subject matter expert, and we get paid. Then we came up with some more advanced stuff that takes a little more creativity to kind of piece together different puzzles. And I'll run through these real quick. These are our Where to Ride series. And so we tie in usually a tourism board or a destination marketing organization. And what we do really is we just kind of email a whole bunch of cool places that we want to go anyway, wait till somebody says yes, and then we start tying in the brands. So for this one, we made a few $1,000s plus a killer trip to Tennessee. We just did one in Slovenia, we did one in Scotland, we did one in Ely, Nevada, and we've got a ton of these planned for next year. The cool thing is the brands get product placement, they get applied endorsement because we're using their product to go create this adventure. The readers see this as an adventure, it's attainable. We show them how to do it, where to go, it's from a planning purpose. So there's a lot of value for everybody. And of course, we get to go have an awesome time and get paid to do that, which is still, I'd laugh at that. Another one, tech series, like, you take a question or something and figure out a way to answer it. Or for like, for this one, there's like FSA sponsored it because they do hand-built wheels that are more expensive than machine-built wheels. So naturally, to me, is what's the difference, right? Why would I pay more for somebody to do it? It seems like human error would come into with the hand-built, but there's a reason why they cost more. And so it's just taking these little things that our readers are wondering about anyway and answering those. And if a brand can answer, it's the same. It positions them as the expert on the subject. They get a little bit of branding out of it, and we get paid. So ultimately, the whole point of this is, where can your readers, your customers, your viewers, whatever, your audience's interests intersect with the brand's interests? And when you can find that intersection point, then you can create something that you can sell to them, and it benefits you, right? Because you now become the source for that information and these cool learning opportunities for the consumers, or entertainment. It could be educational, entertainment, informative, whatever. The point is, figure out how you can bring all of these interests together so that everybody wins. Because if any one of those three parties doesn't win, it's not going to be successful, and it's just not going to work in the long run. The great thing is, when it does work, you get basically make money to go ride in awesome places like this, or for whatever your category is. It creates some incredible opportunities that are super, super fun. So it's like, this is what I get to go do. That's Italy, somewhere with crazy mountains. Yeah, and you get to produce something really cool that you can be proud of too, which, I mean, money's great and all, but at the end of the day, if you're not happy with what you're doing and it's not fulfilling somehow personally, like, kind of what's the point, right? Life's too short. So, yeah, just say no to advertorials and crappy content. Thank you. Okay, so, boom, boom, boom. I should have an answer. I don't know. No, I just, my ad guy does, like, we send all the packages and ideas to him, and he's like, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, and the content side of it's growing for sure, because, like, for instance, those some of those trips, could be on top of usually having all of the travel expenses covered by the destination or something. The brands can kick in anywhere. When it's all combined, it could be anywhere from like 3 or 4 for a small trip up to like well over 10. And we're cheap compared to some other cycling outlets, that are more video and YouTube focused. Like, we're really, really not charging enough. So that we're starting to charge more as we do more of these and have kind of a portfolio to show people. But it's growing for sure. And the thing is, you have this package, there's a lot of perceived value in it. And you really have to think, like, what is, like some of the earlier one, like, right, what's the value of this, the advertiser, and then charge accordingly. All right, keep that in mind.
I was just wondering, as an entertainment site that's kind of general news or general entertainment news, how would one go about it? I don't know if you, hopefully you can, but what kind of thought process would you recommend that I could go through to get to the point where, and I ask that because, okay, your motorcycles or your cycle, so that's focused. Mm-hmm. But if you have something that's not focused on, I don't know, something specific like you are, do you think that would work for us?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'd have to learn a little more about what you're doing, but for me, it's my readers are an extension of me. It's like, I think for most of us, we're writing about something we're interested in. So whatever questions you have, whatever you want to learn more about, chances are pretty good a big part of your audience has those same questions and that same interest. I would just pick that and find a way to answer those questions or explain something that's not so common, right? Or, yeah. I mean, that's the way I start with anything is like, well, I'm kind of curious about that, and then like, what's a fun way I could tell that story? So.
I have a couple questions. So first,
Okay.
when did you so these kinds of when you're going to a destination, bringing people, photographers, etc. Obviously, it costs a fair amount of money. So when you started approaching these folks, had you already done this on your own time a few times to show them this portfolio, or did you actually just approach people with the idea and then just sort of see if they would be willing to pay for it?
So yes, so the thing is, first of all, we built the audience, right? Like we had an audience. We could say, hey, look, this is the audience size. This is the story we want to tell. Are you interested? We've had a chance to travel a lot, and so we'll go do like we've done plenty of factory tours. So now when I travel, try and take my family on big road trips every summer, and I'll just figure out, okay, here's the places where we want to go. Okay, what cycling brands are there? And I'll contact them and say, hey, like we can come to a factory tour. This is what it would cost. Or hey, can you just like cover a couple nights hotel and meals? We'll come in and we'll do a factory tour. And so some of it, I'm just like, again, I should charge more. I'm just trying to get like a free road trip out of it for my family. It's because it's definitely more than a lifestyle business, but it's an experience thing for us. So yeah, I think having some examples to show first, it's worth spending the money to do it and do it as good as you possibly can. And then of course, the bigger portfolio you have, you can go in and say this. And like we definitely undercharge for stuff early on, and that's the one thing I'm trying to learn as a business person is how to charge appropriately. And I would say don't be afraid to throw out a big number first because they'll beat you up anyway.
So, to that point, when you're sending a cold email, presumably, or to a bike company or whatever, are you in that initial contact being like, this is the cost of the package, or are you sort of initiating a conversation, feeling them out?
Well, the good thing, like with bike specific stuff, like I know, and most people know me, so there's a pretty comfortable repertoire, whether it's by phone or text or email or whatever. But like for destinations, there's there's no relationship there usually, and so we'll just pitch the idea first, and then they'll come back and say yeah, and we'll say okay, this is what we're thinking, and then there's the back and forth. Yeah, I rarely put numbers in that first contact. So I think somebody over here had a question, or they left.
Yeah.
Where does most of your traffic come from? Is it Google, email?
Oh man, the last time I looked was a few months ago, and it was probably about a third organic search, which is pretty much Google, and about a little less than a third, or around another third was from social of some kind, and then the rest I can't remember. Direct is maybe like kind of going from memory 11, 12. So like we've definitely got our regular readers that the first thing they do, they go and clock in at the bike shop, check BikeRumor. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you balance the creative lane if another brand has a creative lane that they want to stick to? How do you balance that with your own core values and your vision?
If a brand does, so if like we're pitching a brand.
Different direction regarding.
Yeah. I think that's the nice thing about having these packages, right? Like the Ask a Stupid Question, the reader survey contest. Say, look, this is the format. This is how it's going to work. So, like with the Ask a Stupid Question, like Giro makes bicycle helmets. They sponsored it. They also do clothing and they do shoes and stuff. And so they sponsored it for a few weeks. So we just told our readers, so okay. Well, actually, we talked to Giro first, and they're like, "What do you want to talk about?" Well, okay, helmets and safety and helmet technology and why people should wear helmets and what makes theirs special. Say, all right, so this week they're answering questions about helmets. Next week they're answering questions about clothes and shoes. So we'll work with the brand to steer the conversation or the topic, the subject, whatever, and so that they're getting what they want out of it. But ultimately, we tell them straight up, say, look, we're not writing an ad for you. This is going to be beneficial to our readers, and we make sure that it's beneficial to the readers, because like those advertorials I showed you, right? Like those are crap. Nobody wants to read that. So I don't want to publish something that nobody's going to read, because it just makes us look bad ultimately. So yeah, it's just working with the brand to make sure everybody's getting what they want out of it. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts or experience with outsourcing the process of getting the brands on board, or do you just get hammered with mails?
We do get hammered with emails from brands and PR companies, just incessant. But I've got an ad guy that tees up a lot of it, and I'll feed him the ideas. And then, if I need to give him a contact name or something, or sometimes I'll just tee it up with an email. Usually, like honestly, we're pretty aggressive with coming up with ideas and pitching stuff and trying to get it, because it'd be like just sitting around waiting for the ads to come to you is not going to work. Like you really have to get out there and be aggressive and push, pleasantly persistent is the way I like to call it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just.
Yeah. I like to pitch my ideas too. Like I'm thinking like, hey, this will be a cool story. Like I want to tell this story. Okay, what brand makes sense for this? And then I'll just contact the brand. And that's the benefit of having done this for like 11 and a half years now, is I know so many people in the industry that I can call them and they know us, like they know what kind of traffic we bring. So I can very easily pitch the idea and they know what they'll probably get out of it. You had a question?
Are you providing any sort of reporting back to these advertisers, or is it just sort of
when they remind us to? We should do a better job of it. Yeah, and that's really my ad guy's job. So he does some, but some of it, like the content-based stuff, it's kind of, they want to see hard numbers, and we're like, look, we can tell you like how many page views we had during that period for the WordPress site, so we can say, look, how many views you had on this article for this time. But like a lot of that stuff is super evergreen content, so like a year from now it could be 10 times as much traffic. Yeah.
If you could speak a little bit more about your experience doing giveaways, that's something be like complicated legal wise, or if it's just for example websites, we have a lot of opportunities for that, but it's get a little saturated on the website, or
So I subscribe to the keep it as simple as humanly possible, because I don't want to deal with anything philosophy. So the way we do it, and you can read, just find one of those on our site, and you can read, there's a little disclaimer at the bottom. It just says like, we're capturing your email, the brand gets a copy of that email list, and the brand fulfills it, enter by this date, and they'll pick a winner, and we use a online random number generator based on the number of entries. So we just explain exactly how we're doing it, and that's how we do it. And then we make the brand fulfill. Like we don't have the brand send us stuff and then we have to turn it out, because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to inventory it. I don't want to pay shipping on it. We just send the brand. What we do is we send the brand, we'll pick the winners and we'll send the brand those names and emails, and the brand's responsible for contacting the winners and sending stuff out. So yeah, we try and push as much of that on the brand as possible, and the brand knows that ahead of time. So.
You guys have comments on your website and you ever get pushback?
Oh yeah.
People get unhappy with sponsored content. How do you deal with
No, we really haven't, and I think it's because, I mean, we disclose whatever we need to disclose about what's going on, any sort of paid partnership on it. But like with the Ask a Stupid Question, it's plainly obvious. It says presented by, and the reader survey contest, like it's very clear who's involved. With the travel stories that we do, it's like, hey, this trip was supported by blank, blank, and blank, and it's super clear. And then, so no, the comments, we haven't had any pushback as far as that kind of stuff. Because again, like I think there's only value in it for the readers, so nobody's complained. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. So sorry to clarify on that. Do you have a system for users to leave comments?
Yeah, it's just the regular comment system on WordPress.
Okay.
Yeah, and my wife moderates it, and she loves it. She's
How do you do like
control the content or the comments.
the comments?
So we just set it up where first-time commenters have to be manually approved, and if there's a link in it, it has to be manually approved, and then we have certain words that just get automatically blocked, and then there's a few IP addresses that we blocked entirely because they were just a-holes. So yeah. But otherwise, it's pretty open. And then she reads it at least once a day just to make sure, and she'll go in and sometimes either just delete something, or she'll just like cancel a section out and just write deleted so people know that we're watching. Yeah.
So for the Q&A, you just do it through comments, or do you use a special plugin or anything like that for it?
For like with the Ask a Stupid Question one, we do. So if it's going to run 2 weeks from now, we'll start about a week and a half out, and then another week reminder. And we'll post on social reminders, say, hey, send in your questions, and we have a separate form set up that people use. Like we link to that forum so people can send their questions in that forum because we don't want all the questions in the comments on purpose for a few reasons. But yeah, so we use a separate forum. So it's really easy to manage. They just all go to one place, and then here you go, Brand, answer these.
How big is your team? How do you justify paying like an ad guy? Is it a specific ad guy to you, or is it?
Yeah, so he's commission only, but he's only selling ads for us. I've got, besides myself, 2 other guys full time, 2 people half time, and they're kind of 2 of those are in the U.S. One's in Scotland, one's in Prague, so we've kind of got a couple time zones covered. And then we've got 3 or 4 freelancers that are actually do something. So. Yeah.
Since you have a lot of comments on your blog post, do you plan to set up a forum so that they can discuss that? And if yes, do you have a strategy in place?
No, we do not. We thought about doing a forum thing because it would be a massive page view driver, like tons of page views and great, but then somebody would have to manage it, and we don't have anybody to manage it. So no, I don't plan on implementing that. So am I over time, or are we good?
You're right on time.
Okay.
Take 1 or 2 questions.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you do any info products, or are you just advertising?
What do you mean, like
Some kind of, you sell something.
like an ebook type thing, or?
Yeah.
No, and no, we haven't. There's probably a small market for that, but just we don't have the bandwidth. We're a pretty small team, and for us, it's right now we're pretty focused on the content side of it. So, yeah.
So is this driving your as far as? So you're not doing ad banners at all?
Yeah, we have banners. So my ad guy tries to sell direct. Whatever we don't sell direct, it funnels through and is filled by Ezoic. We're actually using Ezoic's DFP-like system to load our ads into, and it actually, we put a value on it, and if they can beat it, you guys shows your ads first because we're in the business of being in business. But yeah, so but 100% backfill goes through Ezoic, whatever we can't sell direct.
Your primary direct stuff for content marketing.
It's probably a good mix of direct and Ezoic filled for banners. But yeah, the content side of it, the great thing about the content side of it too, I forgot to mention this, is that it's only additive. It doesn't take away from the banners. You don't take up banner ad space with content-based programs, so you still make all the money. So it's like a double win, because you get good content that drives more readers and more banner views. So yeah.
How much time does your guy spend negotiating with a particular brand to see a deal?
Oh man, years sometimes. It depends. Like sometimes it's like super quick and easy, like a couple days, like, hey, that sounds great, done, boom. And sometimes it's literally years, and then we're just like starting to ignore that brand because they're so annoying to us. Yeah. Rarely, except that if you look at what I posted last night, it was for the new GoPro cameras that are coming out, and we do have an affiliate deal with them. So I say rarely because sometimes it's just so easy. Like there was like, hey, we got the ship dates for the new GoPros. Took me 10 minutes, so I might make a little bit. Do we use affiliate programs? Yeah, if you guys didn't hear it, it's do we use affiliate programs, and how do we manage it, and do we write content specifically for that? So generally, no. We have like set up through CJ, Commission Junction, and AvantLink. And with those, there's like, I don't know, it's maybe like 10 brands or retailers that we publish stuff to, but it's rare that we use it because it's just the ROI on that for us, for the time spent to go get the link and this, that, and the other is not there. The exception to that would be around holiday time. We've partnered with a particular online mail order company that sells bike parts, and we'll do like, it's called Jensen USA is the brand, and we'll do like Jensen's holiday gift guide for the road cyclist, the mountain biker, the gravel cyclist, the commuter, and we'll just create like different price point categories with 2 or 3 items in one. It does okay, but honestly, it's probably not worth the time. So,
when your ad guy is interested in partnering with any that you haven't ever interacted with, what medium do you use to reach out to them? And then also follow up with that was, in terms of billing, do you have them pay everything up front, or is it like, how do you handle making sure you actually get
if it's a small brand or somebody we're not really sure about, we'll try our best to get them to pay ahead of time. And for some of the real small ticket stuff, like we have little site supporter ads. Those are all prepaid. We're just like, look, it's, I don't even know, it's $500 a month or something for this static ad. Like the CPM on that's ridiculously good. We'll get into prepay for that, and unless it's like a brand that we know and we've worked with for years, then we'll give them 30 days and all that. Try and get paid in advance as much as we can for the trips, like the where to ride features where we have upfront costs and travel expenses. We do a 50% upfront and 50% once we've posted all the stories and reviews. Then we send them the bill and we're expecting like payment right away, because the way I structure those is whoever's helping on the trip, if I've got like most of these, there's 2 people on a trip, and the person that's taking their time out of their calendar, because some of the people come and help us have jobs, so they're leaving a job to come do this for a week or whatever. They get paid a percentage of whatever we make on that. So like I got to get that. But to your first question, how do we reach out? If it's a brand we don't know, sometimes it's just cold calling or emailing, and or if it's a brand we do know, it's calls and emails, occasionally LinkedIn, like just trying to get the right person. But yeah, it's generally just calling and emailing.
I was going to ask you earlier, how many pitches do you
Not enough. I don't know. That's my ad guy. Like I don't make him. I'm pretty hands off. Like I give people the tools to do what they need to do, and I trust that they're doing it. And if it seems like things are working, I'm just assuming they're doing it. So my ad guy could probably be working harder, because it seems like every time I message him, oh, I'm out grabbing tacos. I'm like, dude, like why are you not making sales calls? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing. Well, it could always be better, but I'm pushing. I make a lot of introductory emails and calls to tee up some kind of program, especially if it's a brand that he's either been unable to get in touch with, or it's a project I'm super excited about. I want to get that enthusiasm like infused into the brand persons too, and then once it's teed up, I hand it off to him, and he's the one that keeps the wheels turning on those. So I'd say as many as possible is the right answer for that, but